Good morning, Spartan Manufacturing students. Today I'm going to demo Cricut Design Space and what that looks like. So first of all, once you guys get into Splashtop, you'll be able to log in and then you'll have what's called your canvas. So I just created a new one so you guys can see the exact like blank thing that I have. And then from there, there's all these different options over on the left-hand side. So there's templates, there's projects, there's images, text, shapes, and then you can upload things as well. So today what I'm going to show you is just a couple things of how to do things. The big thing is to pay attention to your sizing. So like this is your 0 to 1 inch. So everything kind of goes by 1 inch increments. And then when you get ready to cut things, you'll kind of go through that process as well. So I'm just going to put in an image. So I'm going to click into images. And the cool part is you have lots of different options that you guys can kind of choose from. So you don't have to always make everything from scratch. So I'm actually going to look for a paw print and I'm going to choose this one. If you select through and you're like looking through all these different ones, you can select multiple ones and then they can pop down here. So you can always see what are all the different ones that you would want that kind of goes through it. And then you can kind of delete them off once you decide on which one you like the best. So I'm going to choose this first one that I have, and I'm going to click on this insert image. And then as I go through it, you can change the size. So you can go through that. You can also rotate. So you can rotate it to be whichever angle you want. And then you can also change your color. So I don't really want the red color. I actually would like a light blue. And then for my line color or for my fill, I want no fill. So like I don't have to worry about that. And then from there, as I go through, I'm going to go through and like design all the different parts to make it as much like to have it pretty much exactly what I'm going to do when I cut it. From there, I'm going to add some text. So my dog's name is Oli. So I'm going to put in Oli down here. And then I can even change my font. So I can go through and I can change all the different fonts. But notice there are some that say like multi-layer cutting or single layer cutting. So anything that says multi-layer, it's going to cut two different types. So you're going to have two different mats, where if it's a single layer cutting, it's just one cut and then you're finished with that. So you can go through, you can choose the font that you kind of want. I'm going to choose something that's a little bit more cursive-y to choose for what I'm going to be making today. So I'm going to maybe choose this one. So it's Ashlyn's alphabet. I'm just going to click on it and you'll notice that it changes down here. And then with my font, one of the cool things that you want to kind of see is you can change your size and everything, but there's this letter space and line space. So letter space will connect your words. So as I click on this, notice my L and my E are getting closer together and now they're attached. So if you want it to look like it's all cursive, all in one word, you're going to make that that letter space a little bit closer together as you go through. And so I'm going to have my Oli and it looks like this. And then maybe get just a little bit smaller. And so like I can size it that way, or I can also size it this way as well. So I can put like my font size in here, or I can just like make it smaller or larger depending on what it is that I'm doing. So I'm going to have that. And then I'm going to come back to my images. And this time I'm actually going to type in a heart. So I'm going to look at my heart and I'm going to try to find kind of a more open heart style that we're looking for. Let's see, kind of a fun one. So I think I'm going to choose this one. I'm just going to pick one quick. So I'm going to do my insert image. Again, you can change that color. You can change that spacing. You can do all of those things that kind of go with it. This is a little too thick for what I want, but it'll serve the purpose for the moment. So I'm going to change that color. I'm going to change it back to that blue so it's the same color. And then I'm going to put this right next to O's face. All right. And so once I get done with this section, I'm going to size it appropriately. And I always want to start everything all the way over here. So I never want it to be I always want it to be in the furthest left-hand corner, because when I get ready to cut, I'm going to show you kind of what that looks like. So I'm going to have all those sections that kind of go with it. Now, one of the things to keep in mind is there's these 4 things or 5 things down here. There's a slice, a weld, an attach, a flatten, and a contour. The one that you're going to use the most is this weld button. And what that weld button does is when you click on all 3 of your images, you're going to see it makes one big box. And so when it makes that one big box, I'm going to weld it. And when I weld it, what it does is it's going to make it so it cuts all together. So now when I click on that make it, you can see that it goes, and so only I have everything the same color, everything's going to be cut the same. So that's something to really keep in mind as you do it. Now, if you are going to do an iron-on transfer, you always have to click this mirror button. And what that mirror button does is it flips it. And that is really important, because if you're doing any iron-ons, it has to flip onto the image that you're doing. But if you're doing permanent vinyl, then you won't ever want to do that flip. So those are some things to kind of think about as you look at it. The other thing I just want to show you, I'm going to choose something that has a couple different colors. So let's do the Our Happy Place, just because it's different colors. So if I was going to choose this one instead, I'm going to delete this out. I was going to do this one instead. So it says Our Happy Place. I'm going to get down to the size and everything. Notice I'm not going to weld it, because this is an image that they have. When I go in, I can see that there's 3 different cuts. So I'm going to have 3 different mats that I'm going to have to put it in. So I'm going to have this mat, and then the next one, and the next one. And then, so I'll cut all 3 of them. I'll weed all 3 of them, and then I'll put it onto I'll put it onto whatever it is that I'm making, whether it's a shirt or a bag or like a glass, etc. So those are some things to think about. The cool part is you can upload images. So I have a couple images that I have uploaded. So like I have our McFarlane Deca logos uploaded. I also have our Spartan had uploaded. And it's pretty easy to upload images, especially if they're like one color, kind of not super hard to make. The other part that's cool about Cricut is you actually can share designs. So this You Don't Scare Me, whatever design, my aunt actually made, and she shared it with me. So I didn't have to like try to recopy or create something. So if I'm going to create my lovely Spartan head, again, I can insert it in here. I can size it down to exactly what I want, but it's very crisp lines. And those lines were created when I uploaded it as what's called an SVG. So you need to have SVGs when you're creating any of these types of things. So those are just some things to kind of think about. And then again, I can put words underneath of it. I can play around with anything. Everything goes in as a separate layer, so everything moves separately. And then when you get ready to cut it, like I said, you'll do that weld side, or you can attach. I have found more success with weld, however, just because then it cuts it all together. So those are some things to kind of think about as you go through. The other thing to think about or to note is there are lots of templates. So as you're kind of looking through, if you're kind of practicing what it is that you want to look at, you can always go on and see like all the different types of templates that it has. So you can kind of see different designs, etc., that you could click on or look through as you're going through it. So those are some nice things. I've used some templates, but most of the time I make my stuff from scratch, though I really do like the images category or side that they have, because I think they do a really nice job of like designing different things that are kind of fun. So you can see these are some of their popular ones right now. So it always pops up with like what's the most popular, the most used currently, to see. So that's just a little bit about it. Honestly, you learn a ton from just playing around and like using it, figuring it out, going through all the steps and processes as you look at it. So with that, I'll upload this. Ask me any questions. We can always walk through it together as well. So